Over the past 2 years, we bought a sailboat, sold our stuff, quit our jobs, and sailed away from Florida to see the world. We explored the Bahamas before COVID changed everything, then made the difficult choice to sail 10 days nonstop to the Caribbean, landing in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
There, we damaged our drivetrain before sailing south to Grenada, where we hauled out for a month and fixed her up. For the next 6 months, we island hopped our way north, partying with locals, exploring, hiking volcanoes, walking pink sand beaches, scuba diving, and making lifelong friends. But, now vaccinated, it was finally time to fly home to the States. So we sailed to Puerto Rico and tied up one life in a slip for the first time in 16 months.
Felt so weird to be at a marina, but first thing first, we had to check in with the office. And then we had exactly 1 week to get everything ready to leave one life behind. So it's our first full day in the marina, and the first order of business for me is to get our laundry done. I think I'm gonna be at this all day. Finally having access to a washer and dryer was quite the luxury after doing bucket laundry for months. All right, we made a list of all the things that need to be done before we leave the marina and leave one life for 2 months. And I'm sure the list will be growing, but this is what we have for now. But number one by all the things we want to get done today. So let's get to work. Now that we were at the dock, we had unlimited water, so we took full advantage and scrubbed down everything that we had neglected for months. It never felt so good to scrub a grill.
Look how gross our cockpit gets. Yuck, lots of hair. It's definitely not my hair. I hardly have had any hair for the past year. So in Statia, I fell into the lifeline with scuba tanks in my arms because it was so rolly when I was trying to move scuba tanks around on deck. And I bent the crap out of one of our stanchions. So this might be a really bad idea, but I'm gonna try to winch a line to pull it back. Definitely not perfect, but straight enough for now. I found more beer. I knew I had more beer hidden in the bilge somewhere. It's a little moldy. This is really nasty. These beers all exploded. And then they turned to mold. I don't think I'm going to be drinking those. Since we're going to be gone from the boat for about 2 months, we won't be using the water maker. And if we don't use the water maker for about 3 days, then it needs to be biocided so that bacteria doesn't grow on the membrane and destroy it. So there's a preservative powder. You mix that with water and then run the water maker with the inlet into these bowls so it sucks it up through the water maker and into the membrane. And then it should be all set for about a year of storage. So I'm gonna do this now and hopefully it'll be good to go when we return. Our hoses that lead to the water maker membrane and the membrane itself hold something like 5 liters of water. So I use 7 liters of water to make sure it's all the way filled with the preservative. And It is a ratio of 1 scoop to 1 liter of water. So 7 scoops of this, 7 liters of water. A little short, but it'll work.
Guess we need to add that to our list.
This is our hose that I use to suck the water in. It's connected to our pre-filters. So all I have to do is turn this valve. So now the water entering the water maker will come from this instead of from the bottom of the boat. For doing this, I need to switch the valve on our water maker to the clean position. All done, and hopefully when we get back our membrane's still good. It's pretty important to do this, especially in tropical climates, because bacteria will grow very quickly if you do not treat it properly. What you doing?
I'm scraping our rug that melted onto our hardwood floors off.
After a full day of work and cleaning, time to take a break and have some dinner. Brooke made ribs. They look amazing.
Ta-da!
Good morning. It is day 2 of boat work and cleaning and preparing to leave the boat for a couple months. First going through the freezer, trying to figure out how much food we have left and what we need to eat before we leave, because we'll unplug our fridge and freezer when we leave. And today I'm going to remove our VHF radio that's broken so we can get that shipped off to the service center back in the States. And I'll probably start to take apart our autopilot so that we can get those gears installed once we get them. They're waiting for us in New York.
I'm going to finish our massive pile of laundry.
What do we got out here? So there is a washer and dryer at the marina, but the dryer is currently out of order. So hanging the laundry on the rails just like we always do. Works just as well, and it's free. Our ICOM VHF radio had stopped receiving communications months back when we sailed from Antigua to Statia. To save money, rather than order a new one, we decided to ship it back to the manufacturer to see if it could be repaired.
I'm just trying to clean up one life. Vacuuming, cleaning our cushions, getting everything nice and clean before we leave. What's happening today?
Today's day 4 of being in the marina, and today we're going to drop our staysail and our headsail and fold them up and put them away for storage. 1, so they're not out in the weather for the 2 months that we won't be using them, and 2, so if a storm happens to come while we're away, the sails will already be taken down and safely stored.
This is only the 3rd time ever that we have taken down our sails. So we decided to start with our staysail, which is the smallest of our 3 sails and easy enough to be rolled up on deck. Since our mainsail furls up nicely inside our boom for storage, there was no need for us to take it off. But we did have to drop our genoa, which is rather large. We decided it best to find some space at the fuel dock to stretch it out and roll her up.
All right, the sails are down and rolled up, and now we just need to put them away in the cabin.
Incoming! Yay!
How'd it go?
One chore done. It was pretty easy, actually. We're getting much better at this. Satisfying. direction.
The list is slowly being crossed off. We've got a lot to do before we leave the boat. We're not thrilled about leaving the boat for 2 months by itself, so we're trying to do everything we can to make sure that she is going to be ready and all taken care of. All right, next on my list is to try to repair our staysail furler, temporarily anyway, until we can order a new drum. So the top half of the drum has busted off. It's already broken a couple times and I keep gluing it back on, but we should be able to order a replacement now and get that taken care of. I've already had to replace our furler drum on the headsail, so it's probably time to replace this one too. They're probably, I think they're from 2003, and the sun has taken its toll and they get brittle and crack. So let's see what I can do with it. So we're gonna take our dinghy off the davits and hoist it up onto the forward deck and tie it down up there so it's really good and secure in case a storm comes while we're gone. And then we don't have to worry about it raining and filling with water and breaking something.
What day is it now?
I don't know, this is the 4th day I think that we've been working
How many
on our
days
projects.
until we leave?
We fly out in 2 days and we have to leave real early Thursday, so we pretty much have the rest of today and tomorrow to get everything done. Right now I'm working on our autopilot setup, so we need to take our tiller arm off that I changed the position of. I think we talked about this in a previous video. You can see the link here,
Back in St. Lucia.
here, somewhere. But I basically need to get the tiller arm off and figure out exactly where the new key slot needs to be for the shaft key that holds it onto the rudder shaft. And then I'm going to bring the part home and have our friend Kenny machine it for us. Friend Kenny is a machinist and has done a few other things in here for us in the past, so hopefully we can get it done. I just need to make sure I know exactly where that key slot needs to be machined. I was trying to explain what we need to do to Brooke, so I drew it out for her.
I had an idea. Just trace the arm in place and then eyeball it. Gary said we can't eyeball it because it's a serious part.
Yeah, it's pretty important we get this right.
Once Gary finished his measurements with the autopilot, we took a cab to the nearby town of Cabo Rojo to mail off our broken VHF and autopilot parts. Instead of taking a cab back to the marina, we decided to take some time to walk around and check out the historical sites. We've been in Puerto Rico for nearly a week now, and we've not been able to explore at all. So we're looking forward to exploring Puerto Rico upon our return. When we got back to One Life, it was time to finalize our dock lines and fenders. We put redundant dock lines in every direction and chafe protection anywhere we thought necessary to make sure One Life would be safe if any early season tropical storms hit before we could return. It's our last bit of lobster and food. It is lobster, spaghetti, celery, onion, garlic, and cheddar cheese because those are the last items that we had. Not too bad. What chore is this?
Cleaning out the fridge.
And of course, we still had to pack.
It is 6 a.m. and we just got up and we've got a few last things to take care of on the boat. We've got to disconnect our shore power and close our through holes and lock up. And then we'll be headed off to catch our flight. Not loving the idea of leaving one life, but she'll be okay. So before we leave the boat, we're going to close all of the through holes except for the drains, like for the cockpit, that we have to leave open. But it's always a good idea to minimize the number of potential failures. So by closing the through holes, it eliminates all those hoses and hose clamps from being potential failure points. So we're gonna go through all of the through holes one by one. We have a lot of them, I think almost a dozen, and make sure that all the ones that can be closed are closed. This one is for our toilet, and we'll not be using that, so we'll close that one. This one is for our forward AC pump, and it is already closed. In here we have one through hole that's for the generator, the water maker, and the rear AC. Under this sink, closed. So we are all packed up, the boat is all locked up, and we are ready to go.
Yeah, don't love leaving one life.
Not thrilled about leaving. We'll be eager to get back and get back to sailing real soon, but got to go take care of some stuff back in Florida. We've got 3 bags for about 2 months between us, so I guess we packed a little heavy. Are you tearing up a little?
I am. I don't want to leave one life. But we haven't told you guys why we're leaving. We have to go back to Florida to sell our house because our amazing neighbors next door, big shout out to them, have called code enforcement on our Airbnb and have basically shut it down. So there goes our income. But we're not gonna let that stop us. We're gonna go home. We're gonna have a huge party in their honor, make them really, really happy with us, get the house sold, and we'll be on our way. And our taxi's here, so let's go. Nice try. There you go. We should have sailed back.